How's it going, everybody? Happy to be back filming a YouTube video for my channel. It's been a little while. I've been super busy. Just got back from Europe on a tour with the Dave Weckl Tom Kennedy project, which was a dream come true. I'm going to be sharing some more footage of that coming up soon, I think on Dave's channel, and hopefully I'll be able to put some up on here. What an awesome experience that was, and super happy to have had that happen. And I also recorded a record with them called The Summit, which is under Tom Kennedy's name. All the same musicians in the band, Dave on drums, Stu Minderman on piano, Tom Kennedy on bass, Terrell Stafford on trumpet. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to go on the tour with us, but awesome to be a part of that. And yeah, I've just been busy doing things with jazz lesson videos, if you've probably seen on the other channels here on YouTube. So just been super busy, haven't had time to come up here and upload a video, but I thought this was a cool time to talk about some current events that are happening in my life as far as what equipment I'm using now, some of the companies that I'm working closely with, and a few changes. So as you've seen from the title of this video, I have decided to leave Selmer, Con Selmer in Selmer, Paris, for a few reasons. I think one thing that I didn't understand, and I think a lot of younger musicians on the scene don't always understand, when you work with a big company like that, it's not as luxurious as you think it might be. You know, when I first got offered, I was extremely excited to work with the company that, you know, I kind of think is the saxophone pinnacle, you know, of the world. And, you know, obviously they've made extremely great horns, and it was really cool to be able to work with them, but it wasn't the partnership that I thought it was going to be. Just a little back end, when I got asked to be an artist, you know, a few months, or actually a few weeks after that, I got asked to be involved with the new Selmer Signature USA model. I even helped name it. And during that process, they said I would be, you know, involved, and they wanted to fly me out to NAMM to like help me, or for me to help promote the horn. And I was really excited about it. And then time went on, and as I continued to ask questions about the horn and these projects and stuff, the upper management was like, well, we don't have the budget for that. We can't make that happen, but we'll send you a horn. I was like, okay, cool. And on that first phone call that I had with the R&D team developing that horn, I, you know, said some things that I would like to have in it, like no F sharp key, and, you know, maybe lowering the price point. And I even asked the guy on the phone, I was like, how are you guys gonna make a horn that's, you know, $10,000 or $11,000 when, you know, your vintage market is also that price, but these newer horns, you know, don't always have the same quality level, and they depreciate in value as you own them. But the vintage market goes the other way. The longer that you have the horn, usually the more that it's worth, as long as you keep it in good shape. And he couldn't really give me a straight answer, so I was a little bit, you know, skeptical at the beginning. But when I got the horn, I was really impressed with the way that it sounded. But one thing that bothered me right off the bat was the intonation. And you can hear this in the videos that I played with that horn live. I recorded a resource on it for jazz lesson videos, and the intonation's out. On all my gigs for like the first 3.5 weeks or 4 weeks that I had that horn, because I had a commitment to them and I wanted to play it and, you know, give them my thoughts, and also videotape things, you know, with it, and give them a bunch of free content, by the way. I didn't ask for any money with any of the videos that I did. I just offered it, and they gave me no compensation back. Obviously, I understand they you know, didn't ask for me to do it, but they were pretty, like I had to ask permission to post the things, right? So they were in control of the content, which is, you know, I get it. But then as I stopped playing the horn, I didn't take it to Europe with me because of the intonation, and I expressed that I wasn't happy with the high F sharp key, and I was told that there was nothing that they could do. And so I said, then I don't really want to play it, and then they asked for the horn back. And I understand that if I'm not playing the horn, it's just sitting here, like why should I have it? But I thought that the company would work with me a little bit more, especially because I was giving so much to them with the free content, you know, pushing the horn, playing the horn, giving the horn to people to try, and, you know, getting it out there. And then for them to just be like, no, we can't do that, and we want the horn back, just felt a little bit weird for me. And so I decided to leave. And during that process, I was obviously working at Jazz Lesson Videos still, and I was given the opportunity to try a different version of the Nexus saxophones, which Chad Lefkowitz-Brown and Jack Tyler at Boston Sax Shop, two of my best friends and collaborators, made together. And I was playing the mouthpiece since last September. Then Jack and the team at Boston Sax Shop sent me a different version of the Nexus called the Nexus 1, which is the one that I'm playing currently. It's a bare brass design through the whole horn. So I literally started playing this horn on a gig in New York 2 or 3 weeks ago at the Zinc Bar, and we'll insert some clips here. basically, I showed up at the Zinc Bar. The case was there. They had sent me the horn. I put my mouthpiece on with a new reed, played 5 notes on it, and then played the gig. And I was floored. It had this focused sound that I was lacking even from my own Mark VI. And that's why I play a different neck on that thing, because it really spreads. The Steve Grossman saxophone that I used to play, that was a Mark VI, was way more centered and had no kind of sound ceiling, if you will. Like, it never spread open. It would always just stay, really focused no matter how loud you would play. And I think that's probably why Grossman played it. But because of some circumstances, I can't play that horn anymore. So I went back to my American Mark VI with a KB sax neck and was rocking it. I really liked it. It was perfect for the tour with Weckl, and I'm very happy with it. But as this Selmer deal was kind of, souring a little bit, I was super curious about working with a company that also makes my mouthpiece. And obviously I'm very close with the team over there. So it was a good opportunity to try this horn up in New York and play a couple gigs with it. I actually also played with it in Boston. So I played 2 gigs on the horn right out of the box. I'm the only person that's played this one. It was a great way to test it out. Not only am I very happy with the saxophone, I also have a great relationship with Chad and Jack, and am in control of the content that I put out. Also, the company works with me to be able to support the content that I put out. A lot of companies that I've worked with in the past have not, so it's really refreshing to feel supported in that way, as well as being supported in equipment. And I know a lot of comments are gonna be like, well, you play all these different horns all the time, are you just chasing the money or whatever? Like, what is the deal? And that's totally not the case. I got offered the Selmer deal, and they said, hey, if you wanna be an artist, we're here for you. And the contract that I signed seemed a little bit better than what ended up turning out. Which is, it happens. I have no hard feelings towards Selmer or anybody over there. It just wasn't right for me in this time in my life. I want to be able to use my platform, my audience, my gigs, all this stuff to help companies and myself grow followings and, support each other. So with all that being said, I'm very excited to announce that I'm an official Nexus endorsed artist. I'm going to be playing the mouthpiece and the Nexus 1 saxophone. And what's really cool is I've talked to Chad and Jack, but I specifically had a conversation with Chad today, and he said, we want to offer you this deal, but just know that we want you to play the horn because you like it, not because you feel obligated to, which is really cool because then I don't feel locked into anything, right? I'm playing this horn because I like it and I want to support the company, and the company supports me doing that. And I think that's the #1 goal with relationships with endorsements and companies, is like, it's a 2-way street. And that's why I love Boston Sax Shop, and that's why I love Nexus, and that's why I love KB Sax. And I wish it would have been a little bit different with Selmer, but I just wanted to be transparent with all of you guys as to why you're not gonna be seeing me post any content with them any longer. So now I wanna make part of this video a little bit of a comparison, and we'll probably go into deeper comparison in videos upcoming. The 3 saxophones that I've spent the most time with in the last couple years are my Selmer Mark VI from 1963, the Nexus 1 tenor now, and the Selmer Signature. And I have a lot of footage of me playing that Selmer Signature and reviews that I was doing for Selmer that we ended up never using. So now's a good time to use it. So I'm gonna play some different clips of me playing live with each of the horns, so you can kind of get a sense as to the sound of them. Now, the microphones differ a little bit, but for the most part, we use a Zoom recorder on the ground that my videographer and I really like the sound of, and he equalizes it so that it's not like all saxophone, like you get a little bit of the band and everything like that. But there's no filters, there's no like effects, there's no added reverb, it's just raw saxophone sound for all 3 of them. So you can get a sense of what it sounds like. And we will do some with and without the KB sax neck, so you can hear what my Mark VI sounds like stock, as well as the Nexus stock and the Selmer Signature USA stock. I think these are 3 of the best horns on the market, and I spent the most time playing with them, like I said, so here's how they compare. Okay, so now from the player's perspective, now that you've heard from the audience perspective, I'll start with my Mark VI. I've been playing that horn for almost 10 years now. Yeah, actually, I think just about 10 years now, so I know it super well. It is a great saxophone. It has its little inconsistencies as far as, you know, the Mark VI intonation in weird places, and all of the ranges are a little bit, you know, uneven, and, you know, just things that we have with vintage Selmers that they all have a little bit of a personality. But it's, you know, I learned how to play saxophone on it. And to me, the worst part about it is the middle range is a little bit stuffy, and the low and high ranges don't have the same timbre. Like the high range is a little bit thin, the low range is a little bit spread, and that middle range can get a little fuzzy. So the KB sax neck helps that, helps even out the range a little bit. But those are the only little things I have. And then when I really try and play loud on that thing, which I do quite frequently, it has a tendency to spread and get a little flat. But, you know, these are nitpicky things that I've learned over the years. Now, I will say that, like I said, I have said in the past that the KB sax neck really helps that, and I also think playing a mouthpiece with a little bit more baffle, like the Nexus, has also helped that. Just gives it a little bit more edge and a little bit less stuffiness in it. It's a very warm sounding saxophone, but I think it almost is too warm at times when I want it to be a little bit more of like a straight shooter as far as sound goes, with some cooler temperatures in there. But overall, great horn. I'm probably never gonna sell that thing. You know, it's my first vintage baby that I love, and I'll continue to play it as a backup for now. Now, the Selmer Signature, I know you guys have heard my thoughts on this, but it is a great saxophone. They did a really good job with the construction of the body. Obviously, it's Selmer Paris, and they make very high quality saxophone. And I do think that it has more of that centered sound that my Mark VI doesn't have, which is why I was very excited to play it, because it was kind of getting more into that range of like an SBA vibe, or like an earlier Mark VI vibe that has that more centered tone. But it still definitely spreads when I try and play loud. And when I was doing larger interval jumps, like in a couple duo clips I think we'll add here in the video, when I'm playing with just drums and I'm really overblowing to try and get some of those overtony sounds, it just felt like I could never push it hard enough to get the sounds that I wanted. So even though it would spread up top, like when I was playing loud, the bottom end felt really closed. And maybe that is a thing that needs to be adjusted on the horn, I'm not sure. But I think it was mainly the kind of modern Selmer made for classical saxophone kind of thing. It just feels really tight and closed off in certain areas, except the high range. That's when it really starts to open up. But the bottom end to me was just a little bit too tense down there. I didn't feel like I could ever really honk, which is definitely a part of the saxophone that I like to use. And then the biggest part of this, and the reason why I didn't play it for very long, and didn't take it to Europe with me, was because of the intonation up top. And listen, I know that I'm not the perfect saxophone player, and I have trouble playing in tune sometimes, but it seemed that that high F sharp key or something up there was really hurting my intonation, to the point where it wasn't to the point where I really had to over adjust, and it would make playing soft and playing ballads like really, really out. And we have a clip of me playing a ballad from the Sax Fest at UCF earlier this year, and I just never feel like I was really slotting the pitches. And again, it was still a very new horn to me, so maybe I didn't get to know it, but as I kept using it throughout the weeks, it never seemed to get any better. So it was concerning, which is why I asked for one without a high F sharp key, and then obviously that couldn't happen. So that's totally cool. That was my biggest part about it that I didn't like. The overall sound in the middle of the horn was better, I thought, than my Mark VI. It had a little bit more drive and punch and less fuzziness, but that low end was just a little bit too restrictive. And the high end was just really squirrely in tune and pitch, and I'm not good enough at the saxophone to deal with all three of those things all the time, so that's why I decided not to play it. Then with the Nexus, what I think is really cool about this is it kind of combines some of my favorite things of each of the 6 and the Signature by giving me a low end that's a little bit brighter than my Mark VI, but still has this kind of beefy thing at the bottom, still a full sound, but has an added brightness to it that I really dig. And I feel like I can honk with it. I don't feel like there's really a ceiling. There's not a sound ceiling to it. Then the middle of the horn is fine. I think it's kind of a cooler sound than my Mark VI is, less warm, a little bit darker maybe. And then as you go up top, the intonation is killing. I really like the evenness up there where I feel like I can play as loud as I want or soft as I want, and the intonation just stays right in the middle. Also, the fingers on this thing, like the table, is so well done. You know, I'm used to my saxophone being overhauled by Boston Sax Shop, so same guys that are putting it together, but it just feels like home. There was no adjustment period of being able to play here. Like on that Zinc Bar gig, you know, we played 2-hour-long sets. I never felt like there was an adjustment period of like, where's the keys? Like it just felt like my Mark VI, which is really cool. And it's got that tight, you know, tightness of a new horn. Like the springs are nice and springy and tight, and everything feels like it slots really well. But man, that intonation up top, I was really worried about, because most modern horns I don't dig, but this one was like, no matter what I played, where I played it on the mouthpiece, how I was trying to use inflection or volume, it just stayed right in the center of the pitch. And so this horn to me allows me to manipulate my sound, and using some features like honking and subtone and large interval leaps, all this stuff, and I don't have to think about the horn needing assistance for it. It just kind of does it. And that's what I love about the Nexus, is it just feels like it's a horn I don't have to worry about. I don't have to think extra about intonation, or don't have to think extra about, you know, is this going to be warm, dark? Is this going to be uneven? It just kind of is there for me, which is really great. Also, from a design perspective, it's really cool to have this brass on here that has no lacquer on it. So it just kind of patinas naturally. Like after 3 days of playing it, I already had a really cool vintage patina to it, which is nice. Definitely an added bonus for that. So I'm excited to see how this saxophone fares as I keep playing it throughout this year, and I'm excited to make more content with Nexus. And again, I want to make sure that it's said that I have no weird feelings or ill feelings towards anybody at Selmer. I appreciate their partnership, and it was awesome to be an artist for a year with them. I just think this direction I'm going is going to be better for me, my sound, my saxophone career, my partnerships with this company, and hopefully the content that I put out for you guys will also be better. So let me know what you think in the comments about these 3 horns. I really love all 3 of them for different reasons, and I'm excited to get to know the Nexus a little bit better. And also, I just want to let you know that if you go to nexussaxophones.com and want to purchase a Nexus 1 or a Nexus Edge mouthpiece, you can use one of my discount codes. For saxophones, you can use the code RFD150 for $150 off a Nexus saxophone, and you can use the code Devlin25 for $25 off Nexus Edge mouthpieces. So I'll leave you with a little clip of me playing the Nexus again as this video continues, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Yeah, go try out some Nexus stuff.